It's 1:45, and our first committee meeting today is the Parks and Recreation Committee. Those committee members are Connor, Lombardo, Davis, Hannah, and Boyes. Councilwoman Davis is joining us online. We do not have Councilman Hannah yet, but we do have a quorum if you're ready, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order. May I have a motion to pass the minutes from the previous meeting?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Thank you. We have nothing in our old agenda. We have two items before us in the new legislation. First one is item number 12, an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts after public advertising for bids for the resurfacing and refurbishment of basketball courts at Prentice Park and declaring an emergency. Mr. Lash.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of council. This legislation is for the reconstruction of Prentice Park basketball courts. The project will reconfigure the existing athletic courts at Prentice Park to construct 2 basketball courts by resurfacing and marking the playing surface, replacing fencing, installing new basketball hoops. This is a spin-off project from the Akron Parks Challenge for the improvement of Prentice Park. The existing basketball court and approximately half of the tennis court will be resurfaced to create 2 standard-sized basketball courts. The fence around the new courts will be replaced, and the rest of the fence around the existing tennis courts will remain. Of course, as all the existing hoops will be replaced. So we're pretty excited about this project and look forward to its passage.
Thank you. Are there any comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for bringing this forward. Just so people aren't confused, the tennis courts are no longer tennis courts. They are becoming a skate park. So taking half of one is no big deal. In fact, it probably makes it a little more manageable. But was curious, where after this legislation is passed, are they able to get quotes or just go forward with the project?
I think we're going to go ahead and go forward with the project.
Okay, great.
From what I understand, but if that is not correct, we'll make sure that you are made aware immediately.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Lombardo?
Oh, well, you were just saying that this is a spinoff from the Akron Parks Collaborative. So,
Our Akron Parks Challenge, yes.
so they won the award. Is that right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
This is a spinoff, so.
Good.
I could speak to that, actually. So this is funding to resurface the court. It is an old LeBron James court, and it's actually peeling up and hasn't been maintained. Mm-hmm. So we were told that, yes, as part of the Akron Parks Challenge, people wanted the court resurfaced, but this is something we're doing separately because it's deferred maintenance, basically.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. It's
thanks.
I'm all about the basketball.
Appreciate it.
Any other comments or questions? What's your pleasure?
Suspension of the rules will be fine.
May I have a motion for suspension of the rules?
I'll make that motion.
And second?
All in favor?
Aye.
The rules have been suspended. Thank you. Item number 13 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts with Tom Todd Ideas Incorporated for a partnership with the City of Akron in the Creative Akron Summer Program for 2026 and declaring an emergency.
Sure. Madam Chair, members of council, this is our annual legislation to bring summer camp for our residents here, and we are delighted to have Tom Todd's here coming back again once again for the City of Akron. I have brought my colleague Brittany Schmokel, who is our Recreation and Parks Manager, and she's going to actually turn it over to the Director of Tom Todd. So Brittany, would you mind coming up and having a few words regarding this legislation?
Good afternoon, and thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee, and members of council. We have been supportive of Tom Todd since 2020 and have grown our partnership over the years. This year, they would like to implement 4 camp sessions at 4 locations: Firestone Park, Reservoir Park, Summit Lake, and Patterson Park Community Centers. The camps will serve middle school students ages 10 to 14, and up to 120 kids will be served with these camps. And they do serve all over the Akron area. There will be 2 camp sessions that are 4 days a week, and then 2 camp sessions that are 7 days that are split over 2 weeks. The camps continue to align with the Akron Public Schools Summer Career Pathway Experiences, and they continue to have a strong focus on entrepreneurship and the arts. Through the camps, the kids will experience a variety of field trips, learning sessions, meetings with community leaders like yourselves, and brainstorming sessions for campers to design and pitch collaborative solutions for their community. Tom Todd continues to partner with Summit Education Initiative and the Youth Success Summit for program evaluation and for support. We look forward to continuing our partnership with Tom Todd this summer, and I do have Joel Daniel Harris here, the Executive Director, if you have further questions.
Good afternoon. Wonderful to see everyone today. We're so grateful for this partnership with the City of Akron and the opportunity to continue to serve Akron campers, students, young adults, your term of choice, to explore their community, to create excellent community partnerships and outcomes. I wanted to highlight one idea that came out of last summer that there was a group of students, and I want to make sure that I give them credit because it's about the students in the camps and the experiences that they have. And Allie, Providence, Ellis, and Corey, after camp, continued to work on the idea that they presented at the end of camp, and it was an anti-gun violence documentary. They worked collaboratively. Rachel Tecca from Youth Success Summit helped with collaboration. Danico Buckley-Knight from the City of Akron helped with collaboration, and ultimately ended up connecting, and they just finished this documentary. It's 30 minutes long. We're going to have a premiere in partnership with the Akron Urban League coming up in May. The Urban League has been a wonderful partner with this work as well. And it's a 30-minute long documentary. It specifically interviews Courtney Brown from Winners and Leaders, Tim Anderson from the Fallen Fathers Foundation, and Danico Buckley-Knight. And so I think it's so important to just give context that both the camps themselves are excellent experiences for campers during the summer months, and middle schoolers, being the amazing humans that they are, take these ideas that they create while exploring their community, and they work towards putting them in action. And we have the privilege of walking alongside of them. And so while the topic of gun violence is a difficult one, absolutely, we're also, we feel, I've been trying to think all day on the right adjective. I can't quite find the right adjective, but we feel just grateful to be able to come alongside of these middle schoolers and support them in putting this very tangible idea into action, and to see the community conversations and response that comes out of it. So I'd open to any questions.
Are there any questions, comments? Councilman Lombardo?
I know Brittany said there was 4 sites and 120 kids. That's 120 kids divided by 4, right?
Yes.
There'll be, whatever, 30 at each.
Yes.
At each
yes.
site. Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Yep.
Be nice if it was 120.
Yes.
Just wanted to clarify. Thank you for what you do.
Yes.
Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Councilman Hanna?
Again, what are the 4 sites that you named? What parks?
They are Firestone Park, Reservoir Park, Summit Lake, and Patterson Park.
So how are these kids from the east side supposed to get to these parks that you just named? The closest one is Firestone. Why are these parks, the same parks, picked every year? Why? And you just mentioned that there's a high number of gun violence in the city of Akron, and I think maybe Ward 5 on the east side might be one of those high numbers. So why are you picking the same parks every year?
We work collaboratively with the parks. I don't know if you would
Maybe
like
that's
to
a
pick this up.
question that, thank you, Councilman. Brittany, would you mind taking that?
Actually, we have changed the sites a little bit over the years, and sometimes it's based on the space available. On the east side with Joy Park, we are very limited space-wise because of the camps that are also held by Boys and Girls Club. So if you've never seen the Tom Todd setup, it's pretty spectacular. But they do take up a lot of room, and we have to be mindful of that when we're choosing selections, our locations. But that is something that we could look at possibly not hosting our own camp at maybe Joy Park for a week next year.
Again, you didn't answer the question, how the children from those areas that's not served, how will they get to the different locations?
I don't believe that right now we have transportation as an option. That's something that we can look into, though.
So really, they just left out of the mix. Is that correct?
No, I think that when they do the demographics for those that attend the camps, there are some from the east side. And if there's a family, I'm sure that they could possibly reach out to Tom Todd about possible, working some type of transportation out. But right now, we do not have transportation set to get those kids over there.
Councilman, if you don't mind, I appreciate that question, and that is a very valid question. But actually, in looking at the demographics and areas of the city that a lot of the camp participants come from, the entire city is represented. As of right now, Parks or Recreation and Parks does not have the transportation that we possibly could. Now, that's something that we could possibly look at in the future. But right now, we don't have the transportation mechanisms to get all of the participants to the camps, i.e. when it comes to our Connect at the Rec. When we have these programs, the parents actually bring them to those various sites. So futuristically, we will definitely take your statement in consideration when we actually make these decisions. And hopefully, in the future, we will have possibly some mechanisms to transport these students to these camps. But as of right now, to your point, all of the students or the participants, they are represented from a wide swath of the city.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to mention and thank you for the work that Tom Todd does. My son was a participant. We live in Kenmore, but he participated at the Summit Lake location for 2 years, really enjoyed it. I just wanted to call attention to the fact that your Changemakers program was the impetus behind the Prentice Park basketball courts getting resurfaced, because that was the #1 thing these kids wanted to see done. So just want to encourage everybody, the stuff that comes out of these programs actually has legs and gets taken forward. So thank you for that. And thank you to the city as well.
Sure.
Any other questions, comments?
Madam Chair, if I could Joel, can you speak to the application process and how these applications get sent to various students throughout the city?
Absolutely. So we do cast a wide net throughout the whole city. We work in partnership with Akron Public Schools, with Youth Success Summit, to make sure that we're communicating to a broad audience as possible. All of the camp experiences are offered for free for students and their families, to make sure that we're not creating any undue barriers on the financial front, and to try and create, to increase accessibility wherever possible. And I can share, I think I've sent it, but I will find and resend just so it can be shared, of that distribution across the city of the campers that have been able to attend historically. So we continue. So it's not I should say it's not an application where we exclude any campers on our end, but rather make the opportunity available to as many as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Any other comments, questions? Just one from me. Glad you're coming to Reservoir Park. I've been waiting for it since it started. Have been asked about coming to Reservoir, so I'm happy to see that happen. And I will close with the motto, middle school matters. So I've been proud to be part of this since it started. I usually show up at least once or twice during the event, and it's great fun with the middle schoolers. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
With that, Mr. Lash, what's your question?
Yes, Madam Chair, suspension of the rules will be fine.
May I have a motion for suspension of the rules?
I'll suspend the rules with a favorable report.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
With that word,
Can I do a roll call on that? I don't think I got everyone's vote. Thank you. Connor?
aye.
Lombardo? Davis? Hannah? And Boyce.
Aye.
The motion passes 4-1. Thank you.
With that, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Our next committee today will be the Rules Committee. Those committee members are McKittrick, Fusco, Amobian, Connor, and Davis. We do have all members present. We'll give everyone just a moment to get to their seats. Thank you. Okay, we are ready to begin the Rules Committee. Again, those committee members are McKittrick, Fusco, Amobian, Connor, and Davis. We do have all committee members present whenever you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Clerk Biviano. I'd like to call the Rules Committee to order. We have previous minutes to approve. If I could get a motion and a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. We have two pieces that come before us today. The first piece is a resolution acknowledging the retirement of Jeff Fusco, Councilman at Large for the City of Akron, and accepting the same, expressing appreciation for Councilman Fusco's services as at-large councilman, and establishing the process to fill the vacancy caused by this retirement, declaring an emergency.
Consent agenda?
Actually, I was looking for an adverse report, but I don't know. That's okay. All right. You know, this is going to be some big fills to be big shoes to be filled. Yes, I can say that. After 38 years of service to the city, it's kind of unheard of in this day and age. I know that many times it's been difficult for Mr. Fusco, but I can tell you that working for the city and seeing what he did when I worked and what he's done throughout his career, he has been nothing but concerned for the citizens of the city of Akron and to make Akron a better place to live. Some people may not at times agree with it, but I can assure you that that seeing what's been done, that's truly the case. Are there any comments, questions by any committee members? Any other council members? Councilwoman Boyce.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jeff, I think I met you 40 years ago, exactly, now that I think about it. When you first came on council, my dad served with you. And didn't get to know you well then, but knew that this group around this horseshoe, it was you and others, including my father, that kind of shaped my view of what public service looked like. Then, you may not remember this, 30 years later, we came across one another when I was finishing out my Leadership Akron service in 2016, and I came to your table because I couldn't figure out what other thing I wanted to do in terms of service, and you were the sole person sitting there representing public service, and I said, you know what, I think I may want to do that, and you said, really? And I think you and I, Mr. Lash, you and I were probably the only two people who walked over there, because it's a hard job. And you've withstood 40 years of, I don't want to call it abuse, but I know what it takes to do this. I've seen it firsthand from doing it now and my father's vantage point, and it takes a lot of guts, and you work hard, and I appreciate that about you. But I thank you for being part of that inspiration.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Jan Davis.
Thank you, Chair. Boy, Jeff, today's the day. I just want to congratulate you on your retirement. I know you are looking forward to that. I want to thank you for all of your encouragement and the things that you did to assist me since I've been on City Council, and also the encouragement that you gave me during my campaign because it was pretty tough, you know. But I appreciate all of that, and I just wish you the best of luck, okay? Thank you.
Thanks, Councilwoman. Councilman Lombardo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jeff, I just want to thank you for, everything you've done for me, but, when you were talking about service to the city, I mean, you're the definition of service. You always want to do things the right way, and, you always looked out for the best interest of the city, and that's a model for me as I go forward, and, you've helped me on, there's been a couple issues in Ward 2, I don't have to repeat, but you guided me through that, and, we all got through it, but thanks to your leadership. So obviously it's not goodbye, because I will continue to talk to you. You're a friend and a good colleague, and I'm going to miss you here around the horseshoe, that's for sure, brother. So anyhow, thanks for everything you've done.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Hanna, did you?
No, I want to sit there.
It's your seat. You gotta have a microphone. It's your seat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to say, I've sat beside, I call him the professor, and he has another name for me, but I've sat beside him for 2.5 years now, and the good, the bad, and the ugly has rubbed off on me. And I just want to thank you for all that you've done for the city before I became a council person, and hopefully you'll do great things in the city and take care of your mother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Kamer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Where's this guy at? I don't know what I got to say about this guy. I mean, no, all seriousness, Jeff, we got to realize Jeff has served this community, served this city for a long time. Since I've been on council since 2012, I mean, I've seen him serve in several leadership roles, including president of council, and then going down to the mayor's office and becoming the mayor for about 6 months. And I think he did a great job. I think our relationship was really good when he was the mayor. And but over the years, Jeff and I would agree and disagree, and that's how it works here on the third floor. You're going to agree and disagree. Sometimes the arguments are heated, but we all come together for what's best for the city and our vision. But I'll be honest with you, my opinion is Jeff is probably the hardest working council member that I've ever had the privilege of working with since I've been on council. Being the planning committee chairperson is a monster job, and I think Jeff has done a great job doing that. But yeah, I mean, really, a lot of us folks that don't know Jeff or don't work with Jeff, and even the public, should really respect the dedication and service that Jeff has gave to the city and all the hard work. So I appreciate Jeff, appreciates a lot of the things he's done in Ward 7 to work with me over the years to make Ward 7 more successful. But yeah, thank you, Jeff, for your service. Jeff would always say that he's older than the electric in this building. Remember? Jeff would say that. Check the notes, minutes. I want to see, but Jeff would say that a lot. So over the years, I haven't heard him say that recently, but yeah, thank you, Jeff, for your service. Take care of your family. Family is like the most important thing in life. Sometimes we're called to do this job, and I think Jeff mentioned this before. Sometimes we put them on the back seat and go enjoy your life. Thanks.
Thanks, Councilman. Any other council members have any comments or questions?
Mr. Chair, President Somerville has her hand raised.
Okay, let's go with Madam President first. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to echo, a lot of what has already been said. Councilman Fusco, we are definitely going to miss you around the horseshoe. One thing that I'm going to definitely miss the most is just your institutional wisdom and knowledge. And I appreciate that so much. I remember even first starting on council and just how helpful that was. And it's just some words of advice that you gave me from day one. And I will always say a lot of that you gave me really has helped me to get to where I am. So I'm always really grateful for that. But I also just want to thank Councilman Fusco, just for his leadership and, his hard work. When you think about an at-large council person, Councilman Fusco really embodies that. I can remember so many times, him picking up the phone with Margot, let me know if you need this, you need that. I mean, he's helped me oversee ward meetings and deal with issues in my ward when I could not and was not able to, particularly when I was out on pregnancies with both of my children. So I just want to thank Councilman Fusco for his leadership, for his commitment to the city, and also his commitment to Akron City Council. We're definitely going to miss you, but definitely wishing you all the best.
Thank you, Madam President. Councilwoman Connor.
This one's hard. I'm happy for Jeff and sad for us. It will be a great void to look over across the way and not have him there. He has been with me for a long time. Back when I was PTA president of the school, I got a phone call that said, "Hey, have you ever thought of running for city council?" And since then, he has just been a guiding light for me. He's been deputy service director, Ward 10 council person, councilman at large, mayor, and most of all, my friend. So being a person who quotes Mr. Rogers, I'm just going to say, you are my friend, you are special.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Bolden.
Thank you, Chair. Boy, this is tough. Jeff, we've known each other back about 35 and a half years ago. I met you on John Valley's front porch. And one thing I learned really quick about Jeff is he takes this job very seriously. And that's something that we all need to do. Now, we can have our fun, we can have things that go on, but this is an important job, and Jeff has shown that it is an important job, and he's done an important thing for this city year after year after year. The story that I met him, I was thinking about running for council, and he was on the front porch in between, I think, a council meeting at around 5 o'clock. And he sitting on the front porch, and I said, "Hi, I'm Bruce Bolden." And he said, "Why are you running for council?" And I said, "Well, I started." He said, "Stop." He said, "You better have an answer that makes sense, that's less than 35, 40 seconds, and it better be good next time I talk to you." And I went, "Oh my gosh." I just backed away. Jeff and I became very good friends back when I was on council, and he is a good friend. I'm honored to serve with him again and see what he's done with this job and with all of his jobs at the city, from service director to mayor to president of council to council at large, and all the things that he's involved in. He's helped me out numerous times. He's my go-to when I have questions on how do I go about doing this, and I'm going to miss that. He's taught me a lot. He's taught all of us a lot, and he's dedicated his life to this city, and that's important. We're going to miss you, Jeff. Wish you the best, as always, and I know we're going to stay in touch. Thanks.
Thanks, Councilman. Mr. Fusco.
Thanks. I had something prepared, but it's at home, so that's pretty typical, hey? No, in all sincerity, I'm not going far. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm going to be available for everyone. If you need me, all you got to do is call. I'll be there. I don't know. I appreciate the comment about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that's what happens here. But at the end of the day, I have always strived and tried to find a way to get to yes. Find a way, it's if not everybody likes what's done or what's passed or what they're voting on, what have you, but if you can work together and kind of compromise, at the end of the day, I think Akron wins. That's the way it works. Speaking to the ward people, you guys have the toughest job out there, without question, no doubt about it. And I've been blessed to work with so many over the years. Never did quantify it. Like, I don't even know how many people in terms of council representatives. One of these days, maybe when I retire, I'll find out. Take the time to count that. But not only that, but so many, even on this side, as well as on the second floor, work with so many talented and amazing people. And that's part of the speech I remember writing yesterday. So I'll say it probably tonight. But I value the relationships so much, and what we've been able to do. I know what we do here isn't always popular. It's not always pretty, and it's not always fun. But I think we all have the same goal at the end of the day. I think we all want the same thing. We just got to figure out how to all agree how we're going to get there, and keep up the good work, everybody. I appreciate and respect, and thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Fusco. With that being said, unfortunately, we have to, we're going to have to suspend the rules because we do have to move forward to fill this vacancy within a timely manner. If I could get a motion for suspension of the rules. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second for suspension of the rules. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I'll get that before council this evening. We have another resolution coming before us today as a resolution amending resolution number 373-2023 to implement rules 7.11, 7.12, 7.13 of the Rules of Procedure for Akron City Council and declaring an emergency. I'd like to defer to the sponsor, Council Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Chair. Before you is a piece amending the rules. I know we've had a lot of conversations about rules over the last year. So I'll give some quick point hits and then give a more in-depth analysis about why this is important. So this legislation institutes two pieces that have been in long-standing practice for council appointments, specifically screening committees and application interviews, and then offers a new idea, something that's been tested out a little bit with the application process, and that is adding in public forums. So Section 7 of the Rules of Procedure of Council regards filling vacancies for council, but doesn't include in writing that council would establish a screening committee or even conduct interviews with applicants for the vacancy. But if we look at council's long-standing history, we see that there's been many instances actually since 1983 that council has established a special committee in order to process applications for filling vacancies. And then since 1989, I was able to pull many instances of interviews with applicants for vacant seats. And the need for these two things is apparent because we've been using it not only regularly, but a fascinating statistic that I submitted in my write-up that's also in your on the docket as a supplement is that we've often had well over 10 people apply for these vacancies. So having this process written down on paper is an important aspect. For the last two vacancy appointment cycles, council has hosted a public forum or a town hall, which has offered space for the public to be able to learn about the appointment process and engage council and the committee regarding their hopes and concerns for the seat. These town halls were very popular, bringing in a lot of different people to share information and for residents to be able to understand the process. In my opinion, and this is why I'm putting the legislation, amending this section to include screening committee, interviews, and a public forum is, in my opinion, a common sense approach to enshrining something that, two things that have been long-standing, and practices that are transparent and add to the legitimate process. I also think, I've had a lot of lovely conversations one-on-one with people over the last week or two about this legislation. Been back and forth with the law department for the last 4 months or so about this. So definitely inviting conversation around this topic. I'm not asking for immediate suspension. I'm asking for hopefully time and consideration if people want to go back and forth about a couple different details. But I do think having a written process, especially around screening committee and interviews, is really important so that we're not only doing it well and doing it right, but also passing it off to the next group that has to make these decisions. Again, in the supplemental documents, you'll see I spent something that I've been working on for many years now, but I've been archiving council appointment data. And you'll see on the second page a pretty interesting table that goes through different data about that since the 80s. So thank you.
Thanks for that information. Are there any comments, questions from any of the committee members of rules? Not seeing any other council members.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, Councilwoman Amobian.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any real questions. I did speak with Councilman Wilson. The first two planks seemed just explanatory, just explaining the process. It's the third one that we chatted about, which means that I was trying to figure out how would this public forum occur and the timeline for it. So those are some things that I don't know if we're gonna have to entertain a process as to how we would do something like that. And I guess it would depend on the committee that's gonna do the screening as to how they wanna conduct that. So I don't know what thoughts you have.
Thank you, Councilwoman Amobian. Yeah, I know we had some conversation. I know that came up on a couple one-on-ones. So really the purpose, and I went back and forth a lot with the law department about making sure that there's a good amount of flexibility in this language that allows the screening committee to really dictate how, when, and where such a thing would happen. So this language really gives a lot of flexibility to be able to, notice a meeting, have a meeting, and they can put their own restrictions or time limits or considerations on what would be considered a public comment period. So this is kind of just coming from, inspired by a couple of the forums that we've been having over the last couple years. It wouldn't necessarily look like a traditional public comment period at our evening council meetings. This could be really its own type of thing. There can be certain restrictions or certain time limits put in place to be able to regard that. So yeah.
Certainly.
And correct me, Sarah, if I'm incorrect. I think the applicants are automatically public information, isn't that correct? So all the applicants are known to the public. And I know we're not talking about doing the interviews in any kind of public way, I don't think. At least I didn't entertain that thought. So I don't know, I guess some discussion would have to occur with those members of the screening committee to figure out what part of the process would be open to the public and what are we seeking from the public as part of this. I think in the resolution, it talks about the timeline in terms of when the applications would be accepted. And I know we have, I think it's correct, Madam President, 30 days from today's date after we pass this to act. If we don't act, I guess the mayor then steps in. So it's just a matter for the committee to get together and figure out what part of this process would be public, and then what is it about the process that we are trying to enlighten folks about? Because the names of the individuals who apply will already be public. And the only thing I could think about is, how did you arrive at your decision if it is after the screening committee has made a recommendation? So I'm not sure about how that would happen, but those are just some thoughts I have as to what the committee would have to struggle with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this language is allows for a lot of flexibility for the committee to do what it has been doing and to do this in a fashion and a manner that they seem appropriate.
Thank you. Council President.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Councilperson Wilson, for bringing this forward so that we can have some discussion. I think you've done a really great job just really talking about the history of the appointment process through the years. And one thing that I can say is that I appreciated the fact that as being a part of council leadership, that I had the opportunity to create the engagement sessions, right? And the engagement sessions came from the public, right? Public feedback, people saying, hey, listen, we want to play a role in this process, right? How can we make sure that we're informed in terms of how the appointment process works? And that's why we created the engagement sessions. We did it in Wards 1 when there was a vacancy. We also did it in Ward 8. And so for me, I think it's also really important that we do have flexibility, right? For future councils to really make decisions in terms of what the appointment process should look like for them. Oftentimes there are unique, unforeseen circumstances, right, that future councils might have to deal with and work within. And that's why I don't really like the idea of being so specific on how the appointment process should be. I think we should allow future councils to make those decisions, just like I was able to make the decision in terms of bringing forth the engagement session. So that's just my opinion on that.
Thank you, Council President. Councilman Lombardo.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Councilman Fran Wilson, first of all, just want to commend you on the outstanding work that you put together here. There's a lot of research time, that went into it, so thank you for being so passionate about that. But I guess, what exactly are you asking for to get more public engagement when it comes time for what we're about to embark on right now, replacing Councilman Fusco? And again, knowing that we're a year or so out from the next election. So what exactly are you asking here?
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm asking to take two things that we've been doing for 35 to 40 years, having a screening committee and doing candidate interviews, for us to put that into our actual legitimate process on paper. And then to add a section that allows for the public to be able to engage directly with the committee in some sort of public comment forum.
Okay. All right. Okay. I guess my only comment is, when we have an election, to me, that's public engagement. I just see a lot. What we're doing now seems to be working. If the committee, didn't have it so right, I'll say, there is an election coming up. It seems like, from outside looking in, that there's a lot of time and resources and money spent on something that the public will get it right when it comes time for the election. You know what I mean? So, but anyhow, those are my comments. Thank you.
If I may, yeah, and thank you for those. I think, I think we all very much value the public engaging in elections, but I also think we all know and understand that this process is in place of an election, right? It's making sure that we're setting up and filling a gap with somebody who is able to come in and do a lot of hard work for a short period of time, and maybe, carry it on. But I think, there is something to be said for when we have such a process that isn't written on paper, but is only in practice, that is making such a heavy decision about who represents people. Because without this language, and I appreciate Madam President's feedback, but I would also push back a little bit, because without having this process on paper that allows for anybody to be able to, go about this process how they like. And I think we are a public body. We are responsible for representing citizens, and this process, for the lack of a better word, replaces or bypasses an official election by the public, right? And the person in the seat who's being filled could stay for up to 2 years. So that's a pretty serious process to not have written down on paper. So that's kind of why I'm bringing this up. And this is not about this specific upcoming appointment.
Right.
This is really just for us to look at, hey, like, we have a process that we've been doing for a long time. Yes, it's changed little details here and there, but this really should be down on paper so that there's a certain amount of clarity for a process that technically replaces an official public election.
Thank you. Councilman Garrett.
Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity. Fran, I appreciate you for taking the time to put this together. It's nice. I mean, it only makes sense, because at the end of the day, you can have a committee who can just come out and say, we would like Sarah to be on that board. This way, we have a process in place, written down, so no one can come back and circumvent the process later. This is a phenomenal idea. Fran is ahead of his time, and I appreciate him for it, but this should be in a process on paper so everybody in the community understands how it works, no ambiguity, no possibility of allowing someone to just be selected at random. This is a process where our committee that the president will put together will sit and we'll interview, we'll talk to them, we'll engage the community, and that's a process. And that process should be captured somewhere in our charter or somewhere in our language so that we can have. So thank you so much for this piece, Fran. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilman Fusco.
Yeah. Mr. Garrett, you and I agree. Thank you for bringing it up, that you appreciate the process and that Fran had brought it in. Thank you, and thank you for reaching out early. I just appreciate the fact you brought it in for discussion and didn't try to, bring it in and enforce a vote or whatever. It is worth the time, I think, in terms of discussing it out. And the time I've been here, I've not seen anything, hijacked or what have you in terms of this process. It has been kind of a standard rule, unwritten, but memorializing isn't necessarily a bad thing. The last two, I attended both of those discussions that were had out into the community, and I understand the flexibility that's asked by our president. That makes sense, but how we go about it again, find a way to get to yes. I mean, but this is important process that we have to go through every time, and there's a higher demand, I guess, for the community to at least get involved more and more, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's so I wish everyone luck moving forward on this particular piece. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Bolden.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councilperson Wilson, on this. Understand what you're trying to do here, except I have a question on that, the rule about the screening committee shall conduct its business in a special meeting, which will include a public comment section. Being pretty much the last person that was appointed on this council, I know how the process went, and I was part of that public forum that was ahead of time, and that was fine, but it wasn't a business meeting. It was an informative forum, as Council President mentioned, that I think pretty much almost everybody that was thinking about applying or running was pretty much there if they could make it. I know I was, and there was a number of council members there. And I think that was great to how this has happened. But to have a public, do your business in public and public comment, I'm thinking if you get 20 people that are applying, those 20 people are going to have 20 people come and say, and I think this person should be it. And then you're going to be listening to 800 people. I don't know how you do that, and that's what I'm trying to get my arms around what you're looking at.
Thanks, Councilman.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that feedback. I think that gets to maybe the crux of maybe the yeses and nos here, right? And happy to figure out what this language is to really make it work for everybody, because I think you're right. But we ultimately, we have certain restrictions. We can't mandate that certain people can't speak based on their content, right? But there could be in the notice for the meeting, there could be a public speaking since just about the process or just about a question about the process, right? So we could make it more specific or less specific as needed by the committee. But you're right, those meetings were incredibly popular. There was a lot of engagement. The idea of this is to enshrine that, make it a habit of us to reach out to the public and making sure that we're engaging them. So happy to have more conversations about that specific clause anytime so we can see if this is worth going forward. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Councilwoman Amobian?
And this would be my last comment. I'm always for public engagement and making sure that everything we do is transparent because we are down here to serve the people. And I don't think you were trying to do this, but I know a number of citizens have come down already and talked about the pre-selection of someone before the process starts. And I know interviewing, whether it's for council replacement, employees or whatever, is such a subjective decision that is made based on some objective information and facts, hopefully. So, and I think what I see is that we want to have this as open as possible to the public. And my only question is, how do you get your arms around that piece? Because no matter what the outcome, it is probably going to be stated that it was subjective in the way that was not fair to individuals that are outside of this body. So that is the only part that I struggle with. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilwoman. If there's no other comments by any committee or council members, is there a recommendation from the committee?
Motion to refer.
We have a motion for...
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We have nothing further to come before rules. We will be adjourned. Thank you.
Our next committee today is the Public Service, Public Utilities, and Green Committee. Those committee members are Kamer, McKittrick, Wilson, Bolden, and Lombardo. We do have all committee members present whenever you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I'd like to move forward and call the Public Service, Public Utilities, and Green Committee to order, please. All members are present. We did host a meeting last week, so we do have to approve those minutes, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, we have a few old items on our agenda that will continue to take time, and we do have several new pieces in front of us, and I'll ask our clerk of council to start reading those in, please.
Sure. The first item in this committee is number 4. It's a resolution declaring it necessary to improve Abington Road between the termini of Triplet Boulevard and Wedgwood Road, North Cyberling Street between the termini of Market Street and Bauer Boulevard between the termini of Cutler Parkway and Britton Road, Riding Road between the termini of Batana Avenue and Independence Avenue, Verdon Drive between the termini of Market Street and Mogador Avenue, Goodyear Boulevard between the termini of Eastwood Avenue and Eastland Avenue, Hillside Terrace between the termini of Eastwood Avenue and Eastland Avenue, and Meredith Lane between 80 feet east of Pine Brook Trail and 370 feet west of Stone Creek Trail, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. We do have with us today our Service Director, Chris Luddle, with us, and I'll turn it over to Chris to get an explanation on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. This is our annual concrete street rehabilitation program. As you know, we've been aggressively trying to address these streets. The concrete pavement where it hasn't totally failed and we have to replace the entire street. So this year's program is $1.8 million as reflected in the capital budget. We did receive an OPWC grant at $1.2 million for this. This first piece of legislation is our resolution of necessity, which means this allows us to notify the abutting property owners on these segments of street. They will receive an estimate of what the cost will be. And then there will be future pieces of legislation once we get through the assessment process. The OPWC money we will not receive that till July 1st, so this project will not be able to start till we receive those funds. But we're anticipating bidding it very soon. We will award it, and then we will work with the contractor. Typically, they will finish this work in this calendar year.
All right, thank you. This is our fourth year, right?
We've had it, but this is really the fourth year where we've aggressively put money into the program, correct?
Gotcha, yes. Okay, we got questions and comments. I see Councilman McKittrick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Little, is this similar to what was done in Ward 6?
And there are a few streets in Ward 6 again this year, but exactly, where it's a patch and match, where we take those segments and the contractor will cut out segments of slabs and then replace those slabs. So it's not the entire street, but it's the worst portions of that project. On some of the streets where it's so far gone, like Wendling, we could not do a patch and match this year, so we have a little project where we're going to replace that concrete, and then we are going to put back asphalt.
Okay. I know that people were begging for street repairs until they got their assessments last year. And so I'm just kind of curious in the aspect. So when it's a concrete street, if somebody is on Homestead, that's not applicable for the concrete street?
No, not for a concrete repair, just resurfacing.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other questions or comments? Councilman Bolden, then I'll go to Fran.
Appreciate this. I know Wendling Drive is a special, and those assessments have just gone. The assessments have just gone out, and we'll have to talk about possibly having a meeting out there to remind these people of how that's going to work. And I know that whole allotment up there is just a nightmare, and we're hoping to get some more patch and match. Doesn't look like anything is here this year, and I should probably be happy that I'm getting Wendling, but would like to see more done in the coming years up there. And maybe.
Point taken, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Wilson?
Thank you, Chair. I know your office and I have had a couple of conversations about Meredith Lane, that area. That's the concrete section up there?
I'm sorry, sir.
Of Meredith Lane?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, I know I've gotten a fair bit of comment with the concrete roads up there, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Councilwoman Connor?
Happy to see so many streets in the Goodyear Heights area. But my question is the Bauer Boulevard. Are we going to coincide that with the summer months so that East is not in school during that construction?
Yeah, we'll try to prioritize that before school goes back. Like I said, this won't start till July 1st, but we will try to get it done before school's in
that's
session.
their main entrance.
Absolutely.
I can hear the phone calls now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Councilwoman, do you have a question?
Yeah. I think you brought to the council several months ago, that we're going to have 2 companies or something to try to make sure that we're not doing this carryover from year to year. So is this part of that?
No, that's our resurfacing. So both contracts are done, ma'am. and both, you will see legislation. We're hoping that we get it to you on the 20th or the 27th of April.
Okay.
And then we will proceed with those improvements. So both contractors are ready to go. With the weather and the cold temperatures tonight, the asphalt plants still aren't open, but I anticipate this week or next they will be open. That's a separate project, but yes, those contractors are ready to go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. With that, I don't see anyone else. Is consent okay, Chris?
Yes, sir.
Motion for consent?
Second?
I have a motion and a second for consent. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. Next piece, Sarah, if you don't mind.
Item number 5 is an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts after publicly advertising for bids for the construction and replacement of various sections of sidewalks throughout the city and declaring an emergency.
Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of committee. This is our annual sidewalk program in this council. I would say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, they increased this budget to $1 million, which has allowed us to get a lot more properties done in the calendar year. This is a petition process, so the homeowners or the property owners will put a request in, either sometimes through council, sometimes council, and then council will direct them to 311. They send out a petition. They send it back to us. We go out and inspect the property. So this year, there's 272 properties that will be affected by this current budget that council has approved, and they're all over the city. So, like I said, this is a petition process where they come to us, so there isn't really an assessment process that we have to go through like the previous one. So what'll happen is, we have it advertised currently. In the next 2 weeks, we will receive those bids. We will evaluate them. This legislation will allow us to award this contract. So they will start probably sometime in May with this, and they will get done in this calendar year. And then later this summer, we will bring you a piece of legislation for last year's sidewalk program that was completed. So we give it about a year till the warranty's over. We go back and take a quick peek to make sure that the work that was done last year met the standard, there's no deterioration, and then you'll have a piece of legislation for last year's program, which is 2025, and then we'll assess those property owners.
All right, thank you. Committee members, any questions or comments? Councilman McKittrick.
Will we get a list of those as they're ready to be?
Yep, we're ready to send it out. So
All right, thank you.
We'll send it to Sarah so every council member knows where they're at.
Thank you.
Good question, thanks. Anyone else? Councilman Lombardo?
Thank you. Mr. Luddle, so in the past, you've always said we're trying to catch up, and you've done a great job of catching up. So with this $1 million this time, will we be at, the end of 2025, replaced in 2026, I'm assuming?
So currently, with the petitions that we have received back, because we've sent numerous ones that we never got them back, right? But the ones that we received back, this funding will bring us all the way up to October, the end of October of 25. So if someone sent their petition back and it was December 1 of 2025, it'll be in next year's program.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah.
Getting there. All right. Councilwoman?
Just curious, I know we've had these discussions before. If you had a sidewalk that was torn up because of a tree roof, those kind of things, that resident is not responsible?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, so we go out and look, and if there's 2 slabs that are really raised and it was caused by the tree, we will remove the tree, and then we will take out those 2 slabs and put them back.
Okay.
But let's say the slab next to it is just cracked up, it had nothing to do with the tree, we would tell them, we might as well do this at the same time, and our rate is $25.25 a linear foot, so it's very cheap. You could never hire a contractor, so we may do 3, and they may only be charged for 1.
I see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is consent okay on this one?
Yes.
Committee?
Motion for consent?
Second?
All in favor of consent, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. We'll put that on the consent agenda. Moving on to number 6. Sarah?
Item number 6 is an ordinance authorizing the removal of designation as a through street for a portion of Delia Avenue from its intersection with Thorndale Drive and Warrington Road to its eastern terminus at its intersection with West Exchange Street and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Sarah. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. This is part of our ongoing traffic calming program. We've done a few streets in the last couple years. I believe last year or last couple years, we did Archwood and Lovers Lane, and we did Diagonal. This year, we're looking at Delia. It's about 2 miles as you enter Exchange, at Exchange, and start to travel west all the way to the end of Delia. If you drove Delia, you would see 25 miles an hour. Then you'd see a portion that's 30. Then you'd see a portion that's 35. Then it'd go back to 25. So by passing this, it allows us to make it a uniform 25 miles an hour through the whole corridor. Now you see that if you looked at the UCR, it's $250, and that's not a lot of money, but all that is for traffic engineering to change out a 35 or a 30 mile an hour speed limit sign to 25. So there isn't a lot of labor, there isn't a lot of cost, but we need a passage of this piece of legislation to make it uniform through the corridor.
All right, thank you. All right, any questions or comments? If not, is consent okay?
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of consent, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. Sarah, please.
Item number 7 is an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of publicly advertising for bids with GPD Group Incorporated for the design and implementation of the Main Street Corridor Phase 3 project and declaring an emergency.
Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. We've talked about this in previous legislations, not previous legislation, but capital budget. We're going to improve Main Street from Cedar all the way to the south end of Main Street or South Main at Barges. We'll remove the center median. This legislation before you, we designed this in-house. We applied for the federal funds. We've received quite a bit of funding for this project. It's a $10 million project, and GPD is the company that is now staying at Canal Place and has purchased their building. So what we have done, this last 15% of the design, is to help us take this project, get biddable documents. We actually have an employee embedded in GPD's office for this final phase of design. And this will take it all the way through, and then we'll bid it. We will not start construction until later this year because of the federal funding that we'll be receiving, part of this project. But this is just for the design. I think it was $71,000 to take it to the end.
All right, thank you. Anyone? Questions or comments? Councilperson Fran Wilson.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know if you know this already or if it's already in the plan, if it will be planned or not, but will the divided bike lane on Main continue through that segment then?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to remove that center median, that beautiful center median. We're going to remove that in this project.
Okay, heard. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that.
And all the concrete pavement.
Is consent okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Motion for consent.
Second.
Motion and second for consent. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right. 8.
Item number 8 is an ordinance ratifying the actions of the Director of Public Service or his designee in entering into a contract or contracts with A. Crano Excavating Incorporated without the formality of publicly advertising for bids for the emergency repair of a road median barrier and declaring an emergency.
Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. Last fall, we received a call about Route 59 between Cedar and Euclid. Against the center wall, the pavement was failing. It looked like a big depression. We went out and inspected, and what we found was a failed storm sewer, which the front wall of the storm sewer collapsed, and then that caused the pavement to start to cause a big depression, which had also caused problems with the median wall as it failed. So we hired Crano Excavating. They went out, they had to replace about 75 feet of the wall. They had to remove a bunch of pavement, rebuild the storm sewer. And like I said, it was an emergency job, so we had to shut down. They had a maintenance of traffic. They had to maintain traffic throughout the corridor. We weren't going to shut 59 down. And this piece of legislation will allow us to pay their invoice.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Any questions or comments? Is consent okay?
Yes, sir.
Motion for consent.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for consent. All in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. Moving forward to the next one.
Item number 9 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to, if awarded, accept and expend funds from the Region 5 Wetland Program Development Grant Program through the United States Environmental Protection Agency to facilitate the Akron wetland mapping, assessment, research, and strategic habitat plan and declaring an emergency.
Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. This legislation will allow us to apply and, if awarded, accept the grant from US EPA. Behind me is Tessa Smith. She helped write this grant with Jessica Glocheski. Both of them worked on this together. They've been working on it for a while now. This project will create the Akron's first complete inventory and assessment of wetlands and riparian resources within the municipal boundaries. And what that means is this grant will help us build a foundation for long-term wetland protection, restoration research, and wetland-based flood-resistant programming throughout the city. So right now, when a developer wants to come in and they were looking at a piece of developable land, you know, we can pull up our GIS and we can say, here's the water, here's the sewer, here's what we have for other infrastructure. We double down on, you know, if it's downtown, district energy could come into play, steam, chilled water. What we don't have in a layer of our GIS is where's the wetlands, where's the riparian. This will be added layer to that. So this grant that we're basically applying for is for, it's for $500,000. And what we will do is be able to expand our GIS techs and with our environmental division, build out this program and put in a real program so it'll be a document that a developer wants to develop, boom, we shoot it to them just like anything else. So we're pretty excited about this. There is a timing on this grant, sir, so I will take any questions, but I would respectfully ask for suspension of rules so we can get this in.
All right, thank you. Questions or comments? Fran Wilson.
Thank you. I just want to give kudos. I know we've had many conversations.
Goes to them, not me.
Kudos. You know, this is really important. The wetland preservation is super important. It's our last remaining green spaces, so definitely kudos to the team on this one. And I would love to keep abreast of this plan and the project if possible.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Chris is asking for suspension of the rules.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of suspension of the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, we'll suspend the rules on this one. We have two final pieces.
Item number 10 is an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service, after publicly advertising for bids, to enter into a contractor contracts for construction of the WRF Secondary Treatment Process Electrical Improvements Project and declaring an emergency.
Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. Our north blower building down at WRF at the plant in the valley. So if you pull in the northmost driveway and you pull all the way back, you go to the right, you go to the left, you get back there by our secondary treatment basins. We have a blower building. We bring 69,000 volts into the building. Then we have transformers that take it down to 480 volt. We have 4 of our old high-speed blowers that are not on our backup system. So in the event that we lose power, we are able to run the other 4 blowers, but these blowers, the age of them were never, the motor control centers were never wired in for backup power. So there is some things that if we're gonna be off for extended period of time, there's some things that the plant has to done to switch gear and rewire things, not rewire, but throw switches. And when you're talking about 69,000 volts, this is not safe, okay, to put it bluntly. They have the proper PPE, but what this system will do is allow us to update all that switch gear. It will be able to add a transformer, and then we will be able to automatically switch over to generator power in the event of power loss. So this is something long-term. The next piece is about the loan. But there again, we really want to get this, it's advertised right now, and we want to secure the loan by the middle of next month. But I can take any questions about this. Basically what it is, it's a safety, it's a backup, it's for the long-term viability of the plant.
All right, thank you. And you're looking at suspension of the rules?
On this one, sir.
Okay, cool. Any questions or comments for Mr. Luddle? All right, seeing none, can I get that motion?
Motion for suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. One more piece. Thank you.
Item number 11 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to apply for a water pollution control loan fund loan, sign all documents for, and enter into WCLF agreements with the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency and Ohio Water Development Authority for the construction of the Water Reclamation Facility Secondary Treatment Process Electrical Improvements Project and declaring an emergency.
Anything to add, Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Yes, this is the loan for the previous project. So it's a 28-year loan we're applying for. Current interest rate is 3.48%, which is obviously higher than it's been the last so many years, but it's still a good loan through Ohio Water Development Authority, OWDA. And if you remember, maybe a month ago or 6 weeks ago, I brought you a piece that we were sponsoring that wetland project out in Fairlawn. So this is the project that we sponsored with that. So with that, we do get 0.01 interest reduction on this, which means over the 28 years, we save about $88,000 off this loan. So, but this is directly to the piece before. And like I said, this loan amount or this loan award comes in April 15th, so we could suspend the rules, because if we could do it then, we could proceed by the end of May. If we don't, then we're looking at a June, July award.
Okay. Any questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion for suspension of the rules?
Sure, I'll make the motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
All in favor of suspension of the rules?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, that's it. We are adjourned.
Our next committee today is the Housing and Neighborhood Assistance Committee. Those committee members are Bolden, Garrett, Connor, Hannah, and Wilson. As everyone takes a moment to get to their seats, I want to thank everyone for your patience today. We are a little over our normal schedule. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're just making sure we had a quorum, and we do. Thank you for bringing the Housing Committee to order. We do have minutes. I think it's from January 26th was the last meeting we had to approve. Would someone like to make a motion to approve? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. We have one piece of legislation in front of us. Council Clerk would read that in. Ms. Biviano?
This is item number 14 in new legislation. It's offered by Councilman McKittrick and Councilman Bolden. It's a resolution declaring April 2026 as Fair Housing Month and restating the City of Akron's commitment to furthering the goal of eliminating housing segregation and discrimination and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Clerk Biviano. This is something that I guess comes up every year. With this, and I have to thank. We have someone in the audience who has been a big help reminding me this as I come in and taking over Housing Committee. Jamie McMillan is the Vice President of Advocacy for the Akron Cleveland Realtors Association. If you would like to say something about this, I would greatly appreciate coming to the microphone, and if you would.
Good afternoon, Chairman Bolden, committee members, council members, guests, staff. My name is Jamie McMillan. I'm the Vice President of Advocacy for the Akron Cleveland Association of Realtors, or ACAR. Our office is located at 9100 South Hills Boulevard, Suite 150 in Broadview Heights. However, we cover Cuyahoga, Summit, and Portage counties. I'm also a proud resident of Akron in Ward 7 at 78 East Catawba. ACAR represents about 6,000 real estate professionals here in Northeast Ohio, including many who live and work right here in Akron. I'm here today in support of recognizing April as Fair Housing Month in the city of Akron. Fair housing is more than a list of to-dos, do's and don'ts, rights and penalties, and mandatory continuing education for real estate licensees. As stewards of the right to own, use, and transfer private property, fair housing protects our livelihood and business as realtors, and it depends on a free, open market that embraces equal opportunity. We subscribe to the policy of fair housing and are committed to the proposition that it is illegal to discriminate in the sale or rental of housing on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, familial status, ancestry, military status, disability, or national origin. In fact, the Realtor Code of Ethics goes a step further and states that realtors may not refuse to cooperate on the basis of all of those items, but also sexual orientation or gender identity. Our country's vibrant mix of cultures is what makes us great, and it gives us strength. It makes us who we are. Fair housing makes us stronger. April 26, 2026 marks the 58th anniversary of the Fair Housing Act. We recognize that any progress made stands on the shoulders of generations that preceded us. People that marched in unwelcoming cities, protested in contentious environments, challenged discriminatory practices, and fought quietly in legislative sessions and community gatherings. And we understand that there's still plenty of work to do. Today, we work to address continuing discrimination, and we work for the day when everyone will have the opportunity to experience the American dream of homeownership. Again, we encourage City Council and really all cities to recognize and celebrate the 58th anniversary of the Fair Housing Act. Your attention to this will help further community education and awareness. We would also encourage you to keep an eye out for some Metro buses throughout the month of April that are going to have ads celebrating Fair Housing Month. We certainly welcome the opportunity to continue to work with you on this and any other real estate-related issues. Please know that ACAR is a resource for this council committee and all of the council committees, and are happy to help and answer any questions. And I also want to take this opportunity to just thank Councilman Fusco for his leadership on housing and real estate over his many, many years of service. We appreciate your support, and thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. McMillan. We have questions, comments from anyone on the committee. Councilperson Wilson.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing this piece in, and thanks for speaking. This is a really important time and topic to be talking about it. Also, for citizens that are watching, and I'll probably bring this up tonight, but there's two reporting mechanisms that the city of Akron maintains. One is housing complaints, which allows inspections to happen for folks who are facing problems in their housing units. And then there's the Akron Civil Rights Commission, which investigates discrimination in housing, public accommodations, and employment. So I just wanted to bring those up, and I'll probably bring them up tonight as well. That's an important aspect. Our city has done some really good work around that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilperson Wilson. Anyone else on the committee? Any other council members?
Motion for suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Excuse me, Mr. McKittrick, you're not on this committee.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, though.
My bad.
Well, you are on the legislation.
I was on the,
Appreciate that.
my bad.
I would like to say, a couple things about this. This is celebrated throughout. It's National Fair Housing Month, and it's something that councils do throughout the United States. So we want to make sure that we are part of these. We've done them in the past, and that's why we're doing this. Also, it's important that we educate residents about their rights, and that's something we want to remind. This month is a month to remind those people, as Councilperson Wilson. We have avenues to do that within the city, and we encourage people to do that, especially when we're running with landlords that we run into many that are not from this area. So I do appreciate that. Now, do we have a motion?
Motion for suspension of rules with a favorable report.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Second. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you very much. That brings it to a close.
Our next committee today is the Health and Social Services Committee. Those committee members are Davis, Amobian, Wilson, Boys, and Garrett. We do have a quorum if you're ready to begin, Madam Chair.
Sure, I'd like to call, thank you, Sarah. I'd like to call the meeting to order and motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
So move.
Second.
Second. Did I hear a second?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Okay, today we have Christine, and is she in the audience? I don't want to mess up your last name.
Yes, she is here. If you could come to the podium.
Okay.
Thank you.
She's from the Veterans Grave Marker Project, and she is going to be doing a presentation about veteran markers. And you
First
can
of
go
all,
ahead with your Christine.
Okay, I wanted to thank you for letting me be here today to tell you about our project. So we are the Veterans Grave Marker Project, and we started a year ago. What started this whole thing was we found a Vietnam veteran who was killed after being in Vietnam for less than 1 month. He was buried in an unmarked grave in Maple Grove Cemetery in Ravenna. When we found this, I was able to work with the American Legion in Ravenna. We were able to get him a marker, and it made me understand that if there's one, there's going to be many. So we started doing some research. We have found many, many in just Maple Grove Cemetery. So we've decided to start looking at other cemeteries in the county. Right now we're into 16 cemeteries. We've marked a grave in Cleveland. We're starting to move into your county. Our goal is to make sure that no veteran who is entitled to a marker lay in an unmarked grave. So what we do is we do the research to find the paperwork to get the VA marker ordered, which is free. VA markers are free. There are some stipulations in the rules, the federal law, that if you died before November 30th of 1990, you are in a private cemetery, which would be anything other than like a military cemetery or like our national cemetery, and you have a private marker, you are not entitled to a military marker. Right now we're working with legislators to try to get that changed, because our feeling is anyone who said, I will die for this country, should have their service remembered. So we're working towards making sure that none of our veterans lay in unmarked graves. What we need from you and from the people in the city of Akron is people that will go out and help us by walking cemeteries, making sure all graves are in the Find a Grave app. Then we take the records from the cemetery and compare it, and that's how we're finding our unmarked graves. Then we have to look at each of those to find out which of them are veterans. So we need researchers. If you have anyone that would be interested in helping with research, we could use that. But it's going to take a lot of time. These people, some of them are all the way back to the Civil War, the War of 1812, the Revolutionary War. They're still in unmarked graves. So our goal is to make sure that no one lays at rest in an unmarked grave. We run totally on donations, so we do a fundraiser coming up in May if anyone is interested, and I did leave the information here. We'd love to have you come and join us at the American Legion over in Kent. We're going to have a Moody Blues band who plays here in the theater a lot, the Time Traveler Band. So if you'd like to come and join us and support this organization, we'd love to have you. Like I said, this project is going to be ongoing, but again, this is something that should have been done a long time ago, but we're going to make sure we work hard at this. Does anybody have any questions of me?
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, Councilwoman Amobian has her hand raised.
Yes. Go ahead, Councilwoman Amobian.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for doing this. So essentially, you walk cemeteries and you find unmarked graves, then you do investigation as to whether or not they're veterans or not. Is that what you're doing?
Yes. And then once we find the veteran, then there's some work that has to be done to find the paperwork that allows us to get them a marker. Once that's done, we submit everything to the VA, we get them approved, and then the markers get installed. And if there's a cost to the installation, we cover the cost of the installation.
So donations should go to your organization?
The Veterans Grave Marker Project, yes.
No, thank you for doing this.
You are very welcome. It's our honor to do this for our veterans.
Do we have any comments from any other council members?
Councilman Garrett has his hand raised.
Okay, Councilman Garrett.
Thank you, Madam President, for the opportunity to speak. Ms. Kristen, I am super excited to have you here today. One evening, I was just happened to be watching the news, and I saw your organization and what they offer. And I immediately reached out to the chair and told her this is something we really should bring attention to for our veterans throughout the community. To be able to identify these individuals who lit, gave their lives for this amazing country, to have them to be not marked or unmarked is sad. And so for you to step up and what your organization is doing is truly life changing. So I applaud you for what you're doing and continued support. I just thought it was necessary that we bring light to this. We bring it to our council. This is a citywide. No matter what ward you in, this could impact you and what you're doing. So I would encourage all council members to invite Ms. Christine to their ward meetings to just be able to share this, if only if it's one veteran who says, "Hey, this I have a family member that could use this marker," or help them identify. Maybe you might get some individuals who would like to even participate in the volunteer piece of this. So, Christine, I really thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your service and all that you do.
Thank you. And thank you for connecting us with the VERG. We got to meet with them, and we're hoping to participate in the Memorial Day program, so that would be great. So thank you, Eric.
We look forward to you participating. The VRG group was happy that you showed up. You shared some great information for them as well. So God bless you and continue to do the good work.
Thank you.
Any other members? Any other council? Christine, I'd like to thank you. This is great work that you're doing, and we do have a responsibility to remember our veterans, because they served our country. And I look forward to inviting you to my ward meeting, and hopefully the other council members will do the same. I appreciate you, and if we have no other questions, meeting adjourned.
Okay, our final committee meeting of the day is the Budget and Finance Committee, and we will begin in just a moment. Thank you. Okay, again, our final committee meeting today is the Budget and Finance Committee. Those committee members are Lombardo, Amobian, Fusco, Boyes, and Bolden. We do have all committee members present. Just want to make a note for the committee that we did receive a substitute offered as an amendment for item number 2 under your regular agenda. If you're using your iPad, please remember to press reload to see that new piece. It was also emailed to you by our Deputy Clerk, Summer Owen. Thank you.
All righty. Welcome to the Budget and Finance meeting this afternoon. First, going to start off with a approval of last week's meeting minutes. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. We have a couple items from the past that we've been taking time on, and then we have a new piece. So we'll first start with the oldest items on the agenda, and the first one would be the resolution. Let me get to that. Okay. The first item that we took time on was the resolution adopting the annual operating budget for the fiscal year 2026 and declaring an emergency. Being that this is a resolution, can I have a favorable report, or do we have to, Sarah, do we have to suspend the rules on that?
It is on its third reading, so you would not need to suspend the rules. You could make a motion for a favorable report.
Okay. Yes, so can I have a motion for a favorable report on the resolution for the annual operating budget?
So move.
Motion? That's the second piece. Yep. And a motion and a second by Councilman Fusco. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Very good. Okay. The next piece that we took time on again was the ordinance to make the annual appropriation for current expenses, other expenditures, and capital outlays of the City of Akron for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2026, and declaring an emergency. And again, as our clerk said, there was an amendment to this proposal. So first, I'd like to open up the floor for any discussions on the operating budget. We'll start off with our Finance Director, Steve Fricker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as mentioned, we are offering a substitute appropriation ordinance as amended. And fundamentally, this new ordinance has 4 changes to it. So item 1 is that in the Department of Neighborhoods within the general fund, we are adding salary for an additional housing inspector. So that additional amount is about $58,000. And really what that represents is 7 months worth, because we would not hire this person probably until May 1. We're budgeting for only 7 months of that person. And then going forward, that would be on an annual basis, but it's slightly less this year because we probably will not be able to hire that person for about a month. In addition to that, while it's not a change in the budget, we plan to hire a second code compliance housing inspector using an existing position that is in the budget. So there's a position within our demolition area that we will not be filling, and instead be filling that with a second code compliance inspector. So therefore, we will be adding 2 additional code compliance inspectors to our housing area. The second change has to do with adding additional funds to the Keep Akron Beautiful contract. So we are adding $100,000 to that, which will make the total all in $465,000. Now, the additional $100,000 is being split into 2 different funds. due to the revenues available in the street cleaning fund. So $70,000 will be added to the recycling budget within public service, to the general fund, and then the other $30,000 will be added to the street cleaning operation, actually also public service within the special assessment fund. So that's an additional $100,000 going to Keep Akron Beautiful. The third change is the stipend amount for the board members of the Citizens Police Oversight Board will be increased from $100 per meeting to $300 per meeting. So this was kind of a compromise. I know there were, requests to make that amount $500. Currently, it's at $100. So kind of halfway in between there, the amount will be increased to $300 per meeting. So all in, that's a additional approximately $25,000 that will be added to the Citizens Police Oversight budget.
I'm sorry, how much was that?
About 25, so the actual amount is $25,369. And that includes, the additional $200 per meeting plus the, ancillary Medicare and pension charges that go along with that. And then finally, so all of those things together represent about $183,000 of items that we are adding to our budget. So $153,000 within the general fund and $30,000 within the special assessment fund. So in addition to that, we are adding a $153,000 transfer to our IT4 fund in order to cover the additional items in the general fund. And therefore, we will not be showing an additional draw on the general fund. So we'll be transferring an additional $153,000 between IT4 and the general fund. So altogether, the budget is going up about $336,622. But in terms of new cost to the city, that represents $183,311. So those are the changes that we are making. At this time, I'll take any questions on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fricker. Certainly some good additions to that budget. I'll first go around to our budget committee members to see if they have any questions or comments. And we start right here with Councilwoman Linda Mobian.
Yeah, I certainly agree that those are good changes. And the inspector will help us stay on top of some of these apartment buildings that we're finding out that are not up to standard, up to code. Very good job. Thank you.
Councilman Fusco.
Thank you. Thank you. Just a quick touch back. Did we receive any correspondence whatsoever? We were told we would get a correspondence from the judges after we had discussed with them, had a couple questions. They said they were going to get back to us. Do you know if we've received anything?
So within finance, I don't believe we've received correspondence back from several departments. I don't think that was one of the ones that we got anything back.
Curious about that. Thank you. Just curious about that piece, and I appreciate working with you guys and the patience everyone has in terms of working with us. I will be happy after discussion, hearing everyone to make a motion, but I'm in favor of this. It took a lot of work. You guys do great work, you two gentlemen over there, and all your staff and everybody that works with you. Appreciate all the effort. This is a lot of work, and it's not only just the budget season, but it's throughout the year. I get that, and there's a lot going on.
We appreciate that.
Yeah,
it is a lot of work. There's a lot of moving parts. You have to consider both the revenue and expense side. So, the goal is to balance our operations and have a financially healthy city.
No, and I know that's always been your aim, both of you. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. I do have the one piece that I'm not happy about, and not necessarily because I'm against the concept or the idea of providing more funds for the police oversight. I have a problem with two pieces of it. The one piece of it is that, you know, having justification for it through educating ourselves so that we know, you know, that it's fair. And I don't know if it's 300, like I said, we talked about 300, 500, 200, 400, whatever, you know, and this is one tight budget, one of the tightest budgets we've seen in recent memory. But without further information, it's hard to check off on that idea that's okay. We also talked about, you know, doing a study, finding out what's fair for the rest, because whenever, and we know the way this works, those of us who've been here for a bit, what's going to happen is the other boards are going to come to us and say, we want, you gave them a bump, why don't you give us a bump? And I'm saying that's not a bad idea, but let's educate ourselves. Let's make sure we are aware of what's fair, what's equitable, what's going to be something that will, that's fair to the public, that's helping us with regards to these heavy lifting, this heavy lifting that we're asking them to do. And so with that, I'm still gonna support this budget. The overall idea, it's always about sticking to my word, where it's like, you know, always trying to find a way to get to yes. Don't like everything in here. I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of concerns about our public safety folks, and, you know, a lot of concerns about that. I know everybody here has concerns about different pieces, parts, but I, again, appreciate all the work. I appreciate the work that all of our groups do here in our city, all of our organizations. It's just, like I said, I just would like to have more information to be fully supportive of just carving out one group and saying, you get it. The rest of you are gonna have to wait. That's where my consternation is. Thanks.
Right. And if I can dovetail off that, is that's where I have an issue also with the one group for the Citizens Review Board, because, you know, we have, if we're talking about our officers, we have, you know, staffing issues and cruiser issues there, you know, let alone the body-worn cameras, not on all officers. We have issues like that. And then when it comes to our fire department, you know, they have staffing level issues also. Recruitment and retention is a problem with both sides there. And I know that was brought up, you know, with the Citizens Review Board too. But I'm just in favor of giving our safety forces the tools and resources necessary to meet the demands of the growing and you know, complex call volume that they each receive. And you know, I just kind of go back to all the time, it seems like whether they've said 97, 98, 99% of the time, they're doing what's, you know, right by the standards of their, you know, professions. But yet we have to, you know, constantly throw more money to the other side to keep picking and picking and picking against them. So, you know, our public safety is not optional here. It's essential. And some of these other groups, they applied for the job. They applied for it. So if it's not, you know, benefiting them either financially or whatever, then I guess they don't want to do that. But I cannot support that at this time. Those are my thoughts, and I will give way to other members of our budget committee first, and then we'll go around the horn. So I was looking at you. So Councilwoman Tina Boyce.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to thank the administration for bumping up housing. I know as a ward person, some of the top requests I get are, you know, housing, nuisance, and litter. And to see Keep Akron Beautiful, we're keeping our word. We're giving them that $100,000 that we wanted to last year. It's great to see that in this budget. So I want to thank you. Thank you for that.
Okay, Councilman Eric Garrett.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate the opportunity. A penny wise and a pound foolish. A penny wise and a pound foolish. This is the oversight board, we have to realize, why are they here in the beginning? How did we get here? If you see a turtle on a fence post, you wonder, how did that turtle get there? This oversight board didn't just magically appear. The citizens of Akron asked for them to be here. And just like we fund police fully, $7 million, I think it's important that we fund this part too. There's no reason why these should be separate. They're one and the same. It's all a part of law enforcement. They had 288 use of force cases that they had to review. Thankfully, 90-something% they agreed with. But you're an accountant. You understand that 3% can be huge. That 3% can be Jalen Walker being shot 90-something times. That 3% could be Jasmine Tucker, who was shot in the back running away. That 3% can be Mike Jones, who was shot in the U-Haul truck in Ward 9. Jalen Walker in Ward 7. The young kid that had the toy gun, which a 60-second look back could give us an opportunity to step in and say, maybe we should train differently. Maybe we can make our forces better. But instead, minus the oversight board to point some of these things out to make us better, to go down the path of getting our police department top-notch, accredited A1, penny wise. I mean, just think about it for a second. This is $20,000 we give in Keep Akron Beautiful $100,000. These people are just asking for a little bit more money to get the work done because they're overloaded. These other commissions, much respect, don't begrudge them at all. These are life and death situations that these people are dealing with. These are high profile cases. They're spending tons of time, not begrudging anyone else. I'm sure I don't want to go back and forth of which committee works harder, but we should really recognize the work that they do. I'm so appreciative for them being here. There's some of the wards, when you take a look at the 288 use of force cases that they had, when you look at some of the wards, they may not be too concerned. When you take a look at maybe go up to Ward 8, only 15. But when you go to some of the other wards, like Ward 5 and Ward 7, you got 35 and 38 cases of uses of forces. And so I just would ask my colleagues, it may not be happening in your ward, a lot of the use of forces that they may have to review. But this city is a quilt, and what affects one city, one ward, would eventually tax-wise affect the other ward. And so giving them the tools that they need, giving them the money, the small amount, that stipend to keep those folks on the team, stop people from resigning because of the volume that they have, they need the support. And I would just ask my colleagues to really consider this. It's bigger than just, maybe we got to look at making it fair for all of the boards and what have you. Some boards are truly, truly needed, and these funds are needed for this board. So I would like for you guys to really consider, it's a small amount for the work that they do. Doing some of the research that I was so appreciative that they sent, looking at some of the other cities. I mean, they're getting $1,000 a meeting. In some places, they're getting $700. And so I just think it was really nice of them just to come out and say, hey, I'm $300. They deserve that. And for our city to move forward, like the constituents wanted, over nearly 70% of them said they wanted some changes. These are some of the changes that we could actually really implement together as a team. So I appreciate you, Chair, for allowing me to share. But this is really important that we consider this. This is really important. When you take a look at these lawsuits, you take a look at the things that's coming up, it's really important. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett. We'll go with, I saw Councilman Donnie Cameron standing up first, and then we'll go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate
Mr.
it.
Bolden there. Okay, go ahead, Cameron.
I'd like to thank all the men and women that do work for the city. I mean, we have some amazing folks that work really hard. Moving forward with this budget, I mean, like the Citizens Police Oversight Board, I'll address that first. I don't know what the mayor and the administration was thinking, but all these boards deserve more. I mean, we can't come to city council at the 11th hour and say we're going to give one board some more money. when we have other boards that serve this community that have been around longer than the CPOB. That's just my opinion, okay? The housing piece, I really respect that. You know, Dwayne Greger and his folks do a great job, and they need more help. I appreciate that. But I want to talk about the staffing with our public safety forces. I understand some folks say, oh, they get enough money and this and that, but you know what? Tragedy happened this weekend in Ward 7. If you're not familiar with it, I can tell you what happened in Ward 7 over the weekend. And we had tragedy. And I witnessed the staffing issues this weekend. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. I would love to have someone correct me if I'm wrong in regards to the public safety staffing levels, especially this weekend in Ward 7. So moving forward, I just want to say, you know, thank you for leadership and thank you for the administration to try to come together and work. But at the end of the day, I've supported a lot of these operating budgets, actually every single one. But I wish I would have seen more from the mayor's office in regards to reduction. That's one. Number two, I would have thought that we would have really compensated all boards across all boards. I mean, you know, they all deserve some kind of increase and not just one. And then obviously the staffing for public safety. Like I said, I rise today very passionate about what I witnessed this weekend in my ward. And I do know that med units came from all over the city because some were out of service and the police department was facing staffing issues. So I just wanted to say my, 2 cents in regards to the budget. I don't know how I'm going to vote. We'll wait until this evening to see how I vote, but public safety is a concern for me with the staffing, so I just wanted to say that, especially with what happened this weekend in my ward. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Kamer. Councilman Bruce Bolden.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I appreciate the work. You guys, the whole finance department, budget, everybody's put the time into this. Really appreciate it. This is daunting, what you've done, and I appreciate the documents and everything. It was really well done. And I look at the budget overall, and I kind of concur with Councilman Fusco that you take the good with the bad and the things that you agree with, things you don't agree with, and you look at what's best for the city. The upsides, the additional housing inspectors, that's huge. The code compliance especially for a ward council person, we get these calls nonstop. And that's the biggest complaint we have, is to get people out there to find out what's going on with these. We appreciate that. KAB that does a great job on litter control. They pick up all over the place, and the good work that they do, appreciate that. Concerns are safety forces. This weekend, I was out of town, but I was following it online and what was going on with the issues, the tragedy over in Ward 7, and the fire that was over there too, and it puts a strain on our fire department and our safety forces, and that's deeply concerning. I know I brought that up with the overtime and was assured they're going to staff correctly, but one more issue that night, one more house fire could have put us over the edge, and that could happen, could cost another life. As far as the Citizens Police Advisory Board, the information that was brought on, yes, some people are getting $3,000, some people, but in our own city, our own state, Cincinnati, which is kind of a comparable advisory board from what I can tell, there's no compensation. There's a lot with no compensation. There are some very high, there are some low. A lot of them seem to fall in that 100 to 150, 125, maybe 200 range, and we're bumping up to 300. I know there's a lot of cases. I get that. I really do. 97% of them, they said, have been fine. That's great. Of those 3% that we found that they said were not okay, My question, when you look at return on investments, what's changed on those 3%? Has anything changed on those three? Has any decisions been made with the officers that were in it? I don't know. I don't think they have. So if I'm looking at ROI, great, we're doing this, and I know we brought this in. The citizens voted on it, and that's great. The citizens realize this is going to continue. We raised last year. We're raising again this year. What's it going to be next year? I mean, we can't continue to keep raising salaries of people when we're cutting salaries to safety forces and other people in positions. I'm going to vote for it because it's important that we pass this operating budget. I get it. But there's things I don't like, and I need to let people know that's where I'm at. So I appreciate the hard work and all you've done.
Thank you, Councilman Bolden. You know, as far as your Councilman Garrett, you know I respect you, but as far as your accountant reference, throwing money at all these, I'm not going to say problems, all these organizations is not going to fix the problem, unfortunately. I wish $100,000 to keep Akron beautiful will clean up all the litter in the city, right? I wish that additional housing inspector will take care of our housing problems in all our neighborhoods, but that's not, you know, the reality. So I'll just stop there. But you know, we need to be, you know, as far as the Citizens Review Board, I mean, to me, it's a reactive organization, right? They're not in the heat of the moment of our safety forces. And I'm not saying, in some cases they're proactive, but I'm just saying that they're in the heat of the moment type of situation. So I just, again, I'm going to hold my stance and not support that. But along with all my other colleagues, great job for the Finance Department and every group that presented their case in front of us. So I'm sorry, I didn't see Councilman Fran Wilson. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate the discussion, and yeah, definitely things that I don't agree with, but I appreciate the hard work and a lot of the conversations that we've been having, and the housing stuff, like my colleagues have said, is so vital. So thank you for considering that. I thought there was a piece about service agreements or special service contracts that was being talked about at some point around the oversight board. Was there not?
So so basically there is, within the Oversight Board budget, there's $60,000 for service agreements.
Okay, understood. Is that new as of this year, or is that?
Yes.
Okay, understood, thank you. I think, and I've been trying to juggle the cost side of things, and I think we've all been having a lot of good conversations about ROIs and stuff, but I personally sat on the Akron Civil Rights Commission for a year in 2021, and that's a board that gets 100 a meeting, right? And oftentimes you don't have quorum, so you don't meet, so it ends up being much less than that. But you know, this board, they sent along their estimated hours, somewhere between 200 and 370 hours per year. Cumulatively. And I think that alone really speaks for the amount of work. And I understand that the content is hard to swallow at times, but I think the number is about 90.2% of the board's recommendations are favorable towards OIPA's investigations into situations. So I think 300 is a good compromise. I just want to share my personal opinion. I think 300 is a good compromise. And I definitely agree, you know, Mr. Kamer and others brought up, yes, I would love to see a deeper investment in our commissions. We have a lot of people who, yes, make the effort to go and basically give us a bunch of volunteer hours. But these are also folks that are really spending a lot of personal time, also away from their families, also away from their jobs, taking time off to read documents, interview folks, understand issues very deeply.
And they applied for the job, right?
And applied for the job.
They applied for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so did we, right? And we got our own increase, right?
Yep.
We all sign up for this public service work. and it means different for different folks, but I think they're doing really important work. And I think the amount of hours that I have personally witnessed, this board makes definitely merits this.
Thank
So
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
All right. Final comments?
Again, I thank the finance team for doing this work and going back and looking at some areas that we've had concerns about and finding more money, and I appreciate that. I just want to make the comment that the citizens voted for us to have this oversight board, and it was for a very serious reason. When you look at all of these questionable deaths, they have pretty much impacted one segment of this community. And for those of us who represent that group, I think this board has made significant strides. I look at what the report that Mr. Fennell compiled, and I certainly thank him for his expertise. You know, I read his reports and I say, wow, we're just very fortunate to have this level of officer with this level of contacts around the country and could generate the kind of report and the kind of work that he's generating for us. But to see a rate of 97% concurring with what happened in the officer's work, and then to make the kind of recommendations he's making, because he's recommending things that we can do. You know, more supervision, more people turning on the cameras, just different kinds of things he's recommending. We put those things in place, it would tell us a different story in terms of what we need to be doing. I don't think this is being critical of our police force. I think it's helping us become better at the work that we're doing. And for the citizens who voted for this, if they read the report and if they come to the meetings that this body has, you would see the kind of work that they are engaging in. And I don't think we are trying to pay folks for the time they're spending on commissions or committees, because there's no way we can do it, because, you know, $300 a meeting would never compensate them. It's the same thing with school board. You know, they get $80, now they get $125. Those people work many, many hours, just like the people that work for us. So anyway, I thank Mr. Boyd. He's here. Kemp Boyd is here representing the Oversight Board, and I thank you for your leadership, and I thank you for the hard work that you guys are doing. And I thank all the commission representatives that are working for this city. But I really am extremely appreciative of the work and the kind of reporting that Mr. Fennell has done for us. And they were working with one arm behind their back for a long time because they didn't have the staffing. Now they have more staff and they can do more work. Now he's identifying equipment that they need to do a better job. So all I can say is that I thank you for getting the extra dollars for the members, and I can live with that. And certainly if we can generate more money for the other members of commissions, I will not be concerned about that either. It's just that I know the kind of work, the heavy lifting that's going on here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Garrett?
Thank you, Chair. And really, I thank you, Chair, for taking my phone call to discuss this topic. Sometimes we agree on issues and sometimes we don't agree. But I think what we should agree on, and that I'm hearing all my colleagues say, is they strongly support law enforcement. I fought and nearly died for this amazing country. I'm part of law enforcement. How do you attempt to separate the oversight board from law enforcement? It is all together. When we sat in a room with Steve Fricker and he told us that giving the police and the fire at 15%, he told us that was going to put us in financial straits. Yet and still, we went out and voted for it. When Fricker told us that the overtime was going to be an issue. We balked and we said, oh, this is outrageous. We can't do the overtime issue. But only when it comes to the oversight board are we want to be a penny wise and a pound foolish. They deserve it. They're part of law enforcement. Let's not separate them. None of our colleagues, they're all the same. It is law enforcement. It is an extension of law enforcement. Don't part and parcel this organization out. It's a part of it. When we fight for law enforcement, this is a part of the fire department, safety forces, police department, safety forces, oversight, safety forces. It helps put us all together. Do not separate us. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, so Councilman Fusco?
Yeah, I'd recommend suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Second.
Clerk, we have a roll call, please. Roll call.
Lombardo,
Nay.
Amobian, Fusco,
Aye.
Boys,
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
This motion passes 4-1.
Thank you. We do have other items on our agenda. Almost forgot that.
It has to do with the lobbyists.
I get it.
I think we're done.
No, we have one item on our agenda.
Right.
New item.
Do you have it?
Okay, I'm getting to it.
You want me to pull it up for you?
Here it is. Actually, two pieces. Two pieces on the new part of the agenda. It's an ordinance to make the annual appropriation for the current expenses that's the 2A. So that's.
Yeah, the second piece was the substitute that was just read in. So just one of new piece
The
for
new piece
new
is
legislation.
item number 3.
Correct.
Thank you. Ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts with CHW Advisors to provide certain professional consulting and lobbying services and declaring an emergency. Mr. Fricker, or?
I'm going to let Emma Huberth
Okay.
Osborne respond.
Welcome, Emma.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is just our annual contract with CHW Advisors, who are our state consultants down in Columbus. They have been representing the city of Akron since 2016, and they have done incredible work over the years, bringing us in quite a bit of additional funding through brownfields. They've been really important in EPA negotiations, different capital budgets, and also helping us identify various state grant opportunities. They also are the ones who keep us incredibly informed, sometimes minute by minute, hour to hour, of legislation that is happening in Columbus, good and bad, for the city of Akron. And so this resolution is to extend their contract for one more year.
Very good. Thank you. Do we have any questions from our committee?
What is CHW?
I believe that's their initials
Yeah,
as CHW, but they are a lobbying firm.
yeah, I was trying to figure out what the acronym stood for. You don't know, don't.
Is their last name initials.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. But these are the folks that keep you apprised of what's going on.
Yeah, they started with Mayor Horrigan in 2016 and have been with the city ever since. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I don't see any other questions. Is consent agenda okay?
Yeah.
Very good.
Motion for consent.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. See that that's on the consent agenda. Thank you, Emma. All righty. That'll be it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. This meeting is adjourned.
That is our final committee meeting of the day. Council will meet in regular session at 6:30. Thank you.